Welcome to AEW Unrestricted, the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling. I am Aubrey Edwards with my best friend, Will Washington. We are here talking to you. If you're listening to this brand new, it's a Thursday. All of our episodes come out on Thursdays. We are presented in part by Upper Deck. Collect your favorite wrestlers in the 2024 Upper Deck AEW. Start your trading card collection today. Unwrap autograph, memorabilia, premium tech inserts. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. We've got these cool shiny cards that we've been consistently opening for the last couple weeks.
The Allure cards, they're phenomenal.
The Allure.
Yes.
Some of them are like gray and shiny like this. Oh, I love that I have like a ring light because it actually shows how cool these are.
Yeah, same.
Ooh, fancy,
look at that.
Fancy.
We got the Queen Aminata.
Queen Aminata, who's been killing it on TV recently. Boo, 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 boo. Who else you got? Who else you got?
Well, speaking of people killing people on TV, we got Marina Shafir.
Oh my God, what a terrifying human being, right?
Yeah. I won't give away the secret that she's one of the nicest people on the planet. But
I mean, I'm not going to say it, but I will say it. She actually makes the most delicious bread. I don't know if you knew that, but yes. It's so good. Anytime she brings a loaf backstage, it does not leave the locker room because it is completely consumed by then. So when you collect your Marina Shafir trading card, just think about delicious sourdough bread.
Yes. But the thing is, she is a legitimate badass. Like, we can say all these things, but the fact is, she will legitimately kick your ass.
Yes, and we've got a badass guest on the podcast today. I actually pulled a couple Jericho cards from this deck, all different Allure, by the way. Like here, let's get them side by side. So you can collect these cards and then get a bunch of different versions. But I pulled the Jericho cards specifically because not only is Jericho one of my favorite people in the world, and I owe a lot to him, but he is the reason why I have met our guest today. An absolutely incredible individual. I'm excited to chat with him.
And we are joined right now by one of the funniest people and AEW fans we know. He is comedian Brad Williams. Brad, thank you for being here on AEW Unrestricted.
Yeah, thankfully, when you said funniest comedians and AEW fans, I'm like, oh, they have Ron Funches on the podcast too? This is awesome. So excited.
But now... I'm like, maybe I should shoot him a text. But technically, you're the first comedian on our podcast, so congratulations.
Yeah, you hear that, Dr. Ken Jeong? You see that? You can't have everything. Sometimes they go to the celebrities who just aren't that busy, and that is me. So I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to mark out with you guys, and we'll talk. We'll schmooze. We'll do the whole thing.
It's funny you said that because this isn't the first interaction I've ever had with you.
Oh no!
And I want to tell
like that.
I want to tell a story and see if you remember what you would have said in this moment. Ooh. But first time I ever met you was 4 years ago.
Okay.
It was 2 years before I started with AEW. So I myself was a fan, and it was at Double or Nothing 2021. We were in Jacksonville, Florida. I was sitting second row, and I remember you started approaching, and I remember I nudged a friend. I was like, I think that's Brad Williams. And then you came over and sat down, and then you turned around and said something. What would you have said in that moment?
Oh, God. Now I'm just like, what did I... wait. Was I sitting in front of you or behind you?
In front.
Oh, I probably said something about, don't worry, I'm not going to block your view.
Exactly. Yes. That was exactly.
I know me. I know my jokes. See, those are my icebreakers to let people know, like, it's fine if don't be worried if we're watching the thing and you say like, oh, it was a short match. Don't be like, oh God, now the guy in front of us is gonna be mad. No. So I do stuff like that to break the ice. That was such a fun pay-per-view because that was like my first time out of the pandemic, my first time leaving the house. That may have been one of the first shows that you guys are doing that had a full house back. So yeah, that pay-per-view had so much energy and it was awesome. That was the Stadium Stampede where Jacksonville Jaguars former coach Urban Meyer was a part of it. Not the most embarrassing thing he would do during his football tenure as head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not the worst. Who would have thought that throwing footballs and having them being launched at the heels would be a footnote to kicking members of his own team. So yeah, that's good. Shout out Urban Meyer.
So great. I also love speaking of like breaking the ice and making sure everything's like totally cool to talk about. One of my favorite things was we were emailing back and forth to kind of get this interview set up, and your email signature says sent from my iPad, but to everyone else it's an iPhone.
Yes.
And I'm literally on the airplane, just like dying. And the woman next to me is like, what the hell are you laughing about? I'm like, this is the greatest email signature I've ever seen.
Yes. I try to do stuff like that. Just like that was something where my dad taught me from a very young age. He's like, listen, not everyone's a little person. And I was like, no shit. But so he always told me, try to make a joke within your first few minutes of meeting someone. So then they know, all right, you're cool. I don't have to worry about, like saying something wrong and then you getting mad. So I do that, and I'm 41 years old and I still do stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know if it's good that I predicted the joke, that I knew what I said 4 years ago, or if it's sad because I'm like, I'm that predictable. I've got my lines like so set up that I know what I'm gonna say. But I'm glad that's what I said. Because normally when someone goes like, "Hey, I've met you before," I'm like, "Oh God, was I mean? Was I a dick? Well, what did I do? When did you meet me? Because if you met me in an airport, 35% chance I'm a dick.
I think
35%
that's everybody who
chance.
travels. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
me too.
yeah. But if you meet me out when I'm like in a good mood, yeah, hell yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said, that was the first moment I had with you. I've had a few others since, but that was the one that I remembered specifically, and and then we got to enjoy an event together, and it was cool, and it was like that
great.
whole area, because I remember Britt Baker's parents were like 2 seats down, and that was the night she won the title, so it was just like an awesome moment, and it was just
Nice
cool
little
to
group
have
of people.
everybody was just like hugging, high-fiving, because it was like, look, we're out and we're getting to enjoy pro wrestling again. And speaking of which,
Yeah.
you've gotten to enjoy a lot of pro wrestling since then. Most recently, you were at Revolution.
I was.
And that in itself was a monumental night.
Yes.
There were a lot of things that went down that night. One of the things that people are distinctly recalling was Ricochet versus Swerve, and a match that I think had kind of everybody on their feet. It was quite a time. Leslie Jones was out there. Really, we
Listen,
talked
man,
a couple of weeks ago on this podcast.
we were all the accessories to the Leslie Jones show. Like Swerve, Ricochet, they were an accessory for the Leslie Jones show. And like Leslie, she came with another comedian named Eleanor Kerrigan, who was on the Jericho Cruise and who also actually used to wrestle herself in Glow. And so she came, and Leslie would just be asking like, before the match would start, she'd be like, "Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy?" And we would say, "This guy's a good guy. This is a bad guy." And then she'd go, "Got it." And then she would just roll, and she would just go. She was the soundtrack. I heard that the cameras. I was obviously there in person, so I wasn't watching on the pay-per-view, but I heard the cameras like kept cutting to her, and some people were like, "Why you keep cutting to Leslie?" Because you can't avoid her. It was so loud, in the nosebleed section. There, like, is Swerve's mom in the front row? Like, what's happening? So it was so great. I would do a sort of Manning cast style watch along to every wrestling event with Leslie Jones. Somebody set that up. Tony Khan, make it happen.
Oh my God. So my favorite part of that is like, so I had gotten you tickets for Revolution and I tried to get you something that was like easily accessible. So like somewhere that's like a comfortable seat, right? Because there's a lot of people and all this sort of stuff. And then someone came up to me and went, "Why did you not tell us Brad Williams was here?" And I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Well, we moved him to the front row." And my first response was, "Can he see over the barricade?"
Now, you know what? Thankfully, you had padded chairs in the front, and I was good to go. What was fun was during the Swerve Ricochet match, and I really enjoyed this. Ricochet took time to actually stare at me and give me the sort of LeBron, "you're too small" kind of thing. And then, I like to ham it up. So then I was like, I'm going to go over the guardrail. And Everyone was like, "That's cool. You faked like you were trying to go over the guardrail." I'm like, "No, I was really trying to get over the guardrail, but it's high, and my arms are flippers, so like that didn't work out too well."
Little
But
T-Rex.
so yeah, it was fun. It was like a little T-Rex trying to climb. But yeah, that was an amazing match. The fact that you guys had on that pay-per-view had three 5 stars back to back to back. That's just like, my God, what a pay-per-view. I'm on a wrestling chat, a wrestling group chat with some friends, and I'll say that the chat, let's just say, leans a little towards another wrestling promotion, and everyone on that wrestling chat was like, AEW knocked it out of the park that night.
Boom.
That like, I don't recall other pay-per-views from other companies that had 3 5 stars in a row. Just banger, banger, banger. And like, no debate either. No, like when Meltzer's ratings came out, like no one's like, what? 5 star, like, even though Meltzer's an absolute mark for Will Ospreay, like that match was like, everyone was like, yeah, but that's a 5 star match. And the fact being in the front row where I could hear uh Fletcher and Osprey talking to each other during the match. When I say talking to each other, I mean like Fletcher just yelling, "I fucking hate you! I hate you!" and then getting hit. It was so great. Like seeing it that close. If you could afford it, or if you are very friendly with Aubrey Edwards, I would advise everyone sit very close and watch wrestling. You get a whole new kind of appreciation for it. Uh, Speaking of the cage match, sorry I'm talking way too much, but
Please.
You're the guest on the podcast. You're
yeah.
making it easy for us. It's fine.
Speaking of the cage match, being close when Fletcher and Osprey were at the very top of the cage doing back and forth, they started doing headbutts, and one of them connected because we heard in the
Thud.
thud, like unmistakable sound of two heads, skulls thunking together. We heard that sound in the front. Like that's when I was like, "Oh God, are they okay?"
Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, as someone who's been on a cruise ship with Will Ospreay, I can tell you right now, he's not okay.
Oh, buddy. Okay, that is a great segue because that is actually where I met Brad Williams for the first time. We have shared 5 Jericho cruises together, and every time is 5, 6. I don't know how ever
I've been
many
on
now.
5. There's been 6 total. The one I missed was
The
because
ROH one, right?
yeah, my wife had the gall to get pregnant. So annoying. And
She got pregnant. Okay, you had nothing to do with that.
I'm hoping I had something to do with it. If not, I gotta have a conversation. And my daughter's a dwarf, so if I really had nothing to do with it, my wife has a very specific kink that I don't know about. I thought it was because of my charming personality.
So on the topic of the cruise, how did you get hooked up with Jericho? And now you're the director of fun on the Jericho Cruise every year, picking all these
Yeah.
comedians that get to entertain us all.
So here's a cool story. So I did a show at the Tampa Improv, and there I do a meet and greet after every show, and even now that I'm at doing theaters, I still do the meet and greet after every show. So if you come to one of my shows and if you want to meet me, it'll happen.
Can
I don't know.
confirm. Can
Yeah.
confirm.
So I'm doing a show at the Tampa Improv, and this a woman comes up to me and says, "Oh my God, that was great. I had so much fun, and it's so nice to see nice entertainers. My husband is also in entertainment," and I'm sitting there going, "Cool," because when people say my husband or my son is in entertainment, I'm like, "Cool, they were a best boy grip for a local music video. Awesome." That's what it usually is. But then I kind of felt obligated to be like, "Oh, who's your husband? What does he do?" And she goes, "Oh, he wrestles. His name is Chris Jericho." And I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
okay, yeah, I'm familiar." So, we not that I would have treated her like crap if her husband hadn't have been Chris Jericho, but it did kind of perk me up a little more, and I started asking some questions, and we had a conversation. And she kind of looks at me and goes, "You should go on his podcast." And I said, "I should go on his podcast." And normally when that happens, that's the end of it. That's the end of every conversation. We should do a movie together. We should hang out. We should. But literally like 2 days later, I get a DM from Jericho just saying, "Hey, my wife had a great time at your show. She said you should come on the podcast. I like comedians. Yeah, you should come on the podcast. I'll be in LA in a few weeks. Let's get you on the podcast." Okay, great. I go on Talk is Jericho. We have a great time. Definitely get along really well. And then right after that, he announces the first Jericho Cruise, and I DM'd him and said, "Dude, I will go on this cruise." He's like, "I can't afford you." And I go, "Don't care. Book me on this cruise." The first one was Ring of Honor versus Impact because AEW didn't exist yet. And so I got booked on the cruise and I did everything on the cruise. Like I went to every show, I went to every live podcast. I was trying to sit near the front for all the wrestling shows. By the way, live wrestling on a cruise ship is awesome. And then the stand-up shows were really successful. So after that, Jericho was just like, "Yeah, you know comedians. I'll just have you book the comedians and come on the Jericho Cruise." And I have, and it's been great. I've gotten to know a lot of really cool people and just witnessed a lot of cool things and cross a few things off my bucket list because I've been in the ring twice.
Yep. It was,
And it's been awesome. And
yeah.
yeah, that part is really cool because I'm always hesitant to get in the ring because I figure pro wrestlers, they encounter a lot, like a lot of people being like, "I could do what you do, but like," so I never want to walk in and pretend that I can do what those guys do. I cannot. But they're always really generous and really cool, and they let me do moves to them, which make no sense whatsoever, but it's so damn fun. And yeah, it's just really cool. I'm 41 years old, and it's still just like the inner 12-year-old in me. It's just like, "Oh my God, I just did something in the ring. It's awesome."
Very cool. And there's so many more cruise stories to talk about, but we got to take a quick break here on AEW Unrestricted. AEW Unrestricted, we've got Aubrey and Will talking to the funniest person I know, Brad Williams, comedian extraordinaire, wrestling fan. You saw him at AEW Revolution trying to peek over the barricade to see what was happening, and it was great. Brad and I met, as we talked in the last segment, on the Jericho Cruise, and one of my favorite moments was from the most recent cruise, where if you've never been on the cruise, there's always sort of this moment where after the first match, the cameras kind of go off and then just crazy shit happens. And a lot of people who you would never see in the ring together are suddenly in the ring together. And I'm trying to remember, like, there was the wrestling match happened, and then like Curry Man comes in for a save, Christopher Daniels comes in for a save, Jushin Thunder Liger's there, and then you come in shirtless with a Scott Steiner chainmail hat made out of the bottle tops of Coke cans.
Yes.
And I was told it was going to be something else, and then when I saw you, I'm like, what the hell happened?
So I'll tell this story because this is totally random and totally crazy. A fan came up to me one time at a show with a full suit of armor made of bottle pop tops, like just all the pop tabs on Coke cans.
Okay, it's the tabs. That's what I was trying to figure out. Okay,
tabs.
yes, the tabs. Okay.
And full suit of armor. And I'm like, I've got some weird fans. And he comes up and he starts talking to me and he goes, "I'd love to make you something." And I was like, well, I don't find myself going into battle with a mace and a battle axe anytime soon. So I don't know when I'll need a full suit of armor. But then I remember that Scott Steiner had just been announced for the Jericho Cruise. So I was like, "Oh, could you make me this?" And then I pulled up the photo, showed it to me. He goes, "Yeah, that's easy." So I go, "Great." He sends it to me. Now, I'm fully just like, I'm going to wear this at some point. I don't know when I'm going to wear it, but the opportunity will present itself. That's what was in my head. And we're getting ready for we're getting ready for the last match, and then I get a text from Chris Jericho saying, where are you? And I go, I'm about ready to watch the match. And he goes, get backstage right now. And okay. So I run backstage and he goes, all right. So Steiner was going to do this run in. Steiner's gone to bed. I don't know where he's at,
He literally
but
was not responding to any text messages, and we're just like, we have no idea where Steiner is.
yeah, I mean, he could be swimming after the boat right now. No one would know. Uh, so he goes, "Can you do the run in?" And I go, "Sure." And Chris is just planning on me being me doing a run in, and I look at him. I go, "I have Scott Steiner chainmail in my backpack right now," and he goes, "How would you have that in your backpack right now?" But I did because I had done a meet and greet earlier in the day where I was like, I haven't worn this thing yet. Let me just wear the Steiner chainmail during my meet and greet. So everyone took a photo with me doing like little Papa Pump poses. Say that 5 times fast. And then so I put on the Steiner chainmail. Everyone, all the guys in the back just start going nuts, and they're like, "This is great." We changed what I'm doing to match a Scott Steiner move set, and once again, the wrestlers that let me do a full belly to belly suplex to them, props. You made me look amazing. So good. Thank you. But yeah, I got to run out and be little Papa Pump and clear the ring and do a what's up headbutt, and it was just and then take a freaking chop. Who chopped me? What's his name?
Was it
Um,
Liger? Was it Curryman? Was it?
no, it was the model tag team.
Oh, it was Mansoor or
Mansoor?
Mason.
Yes, but yeah. So he gave me and good dude. I know you guys hear this all the time, Aubrey, but these guys are so good at what they do. They're
Mm-hmm.
so good at what they do because I saw the clip of the hit. He hits me. He hits me. Felt nothing. It was
What?
awesome. It was awesome. I felt nothing, but it looked like it was so. They're so good at what they do. So like yeah, and then sell the thing, roll out of the ring. But it was just so cool that everyone on the Jericho Cruise is down to clown. Everyone is down for whatever. There are literally some wrestlers in the back having conversations of like, how can we have a match but have nobody take a bump? And
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, cool, we can do drinking contests, we can do dance contests. Will Ospreay can come out and flip his Crocs into sport mode, and have the whole crowd like start chanting sport mode. It's crazy. So everyone's down to have fun, and you see clips like this kind of go re-viral of like house shows and where the wrestlers can kind of let a little more loose because you don't have so many TV restrictions. And that's what it is for the Jericho Cruise. Everyone is just trying to have the most fun, not get hurt, but still have a lot of fun.
It's definitely a like house show vibe. And I remember going up
Yeah.
to CD because we were talking about doing a Falls Count Anywhere match. And I'm like, why don't we do a Falls Count Somewhere match? And he's like, what kind of horse shit are you talking about?
A
I
false
go, hear
count
me out. And I
somewhere.
explain it. And he's like, this is dumb. Okay, I'm on board. And we just start doing it.
Now, please remind me, Aubrey, was that like the falls count in the ring? But no, it was
It's
like
like a
outside
hot
the
and
ring.
cold Falls Count match
Yeah.
where
Right,
like
like I
you have
walked
to.
around with a microphone. I was the only one who knew where the fall was, and it's Nyla and Thunder Rosa wrestling, and they like go towards the stage and they're pinning. It's like, how about here? And I'm like, not there. What? And somewhere else, like, what about here? Nope. God damn it. And it's like, and then I'd say, you're getting colder, and then it's like, ooh, and then everyone
Yeah.
knows they're going to the pool. Like,
Yeah, and it was
so the
great.
finish was a submission in the pool because Nyla couldn't swim.
I'm gonna avoid the stereotype jokes, but stereotypes are real. Hey.
They are. I can't swim. I don't think I've ever said this on this podcast. I can't.
Hey man, it's fine. It's
Fine.
good. That's one of my first. So my stand-up shows on the cruise always start off with a roast. I always end up
Mhm.
roasting the wrestlers, and one of my first roast jokes was about, that's when the wrestlers found out they can't really talk to me before the shows.
No, it's dangerous.
Because
Give
if
him too
you,
much information, too much detail.
yes. So I was in the artist lounge one time and Scorpio Sky, he informed me and a group of people that he also cannot swim. Once again, stereotypes. But so, and I just kind of filed that one away. So then I wrote a roast joke where I was like, Scorpio Sky is here. Like, he can't swim, but you could do a springboard flipping tornado DDT, no problem. But this move, too much, too much, too much for Scorpio. Can't figure that out. So yeah, and that was, and Scorpio would later tell me that for almost the rest of that year, people would make fun of him for that joke.
Oh my
They
God.
would keep tagging him for that joke. So that makes me very happy.
So I guess I have to ask. I want to go all the way back to the beginning here for a little bit.
Sure.
So the comedian origin story, everybody's got one. What was the moment that you realized that you could make people laugh?
So the comedian origin story is different than the moment I realized I can make people laugh. But I'll tell you the good story. The good story is I took my dad to go see a comedy show at the Brea Improv in 2000. I've been in this 20 years. 2004. And the comedian was on stage and doing great, but then he started making midget jokes. Half the audience is laughing. The audience that's sitting by me is like, like, look at there. And the comedian notices and goes, "What? Is one of them here?" And I just raised my creepy little hand in the air and said, "Yeah, I'm here." And the comedian called me up on stage and just said, "I want to talk to you," and started asking me questions. And I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just like, I'm just going to answer these questions. But the answers got laughs from the audience. Like, I remember he said, "Well, what do you do for a living?" And at the time, I'm a teenager in Orange County, California. So there's a lot. We all do the same job at some point. Everyone who grows up in Orange County at some point will work at Disneyland at some point. And that was the time that I was. So he says, "What do you do for a living?" And I go, "I work at Disneyland."
Oh no!
And the
I
audience starts laughing. And I turn to them. I go, "Fuck you! I'm not one of the seven." And then. And I love saying that because it still gets laughs. It's like, yes, it was funny from day one. But that got a response from the audience, and that was the pop where you're just like, "Oh, that felt good. That felt really good. I want to do that more often." So literally the next day, I started looking up open mic nights and being like, "Where can I try that again?" Now, open mic nights are a little bit different than a sold out improv on a Friday night, but just like pro wrestlers, you don't start off at the main event of All In. You have to go through the indies and go through whatever shows and build yourself up, pay your dues. And that's the same thing with comedians. You don't start off doing sold out theaters. You gotta start open mic nights where there's only 4 people in the audience, and those 4 are all either related to the other comedians or the other comedians themselves. That's where you start, and then you just start building from there. And one of the cool parts about whether it be wrestling or comedy is that, with few exceptions, there's no way to jump the line. Like, you could be a celebrity and do like a run in whatever. Maybe you could do I don't know. I'm old. I don't know who this person is. The AJ,
The Big Boom AJ. Yeah.
Big Boom AJ, the Rizzler. Yeah, I'm old. Everybody, I'm old.
Oh, no, I
these
didn't know who
things.
they were either, to be perfectly honest. I'm like, what?
Okay.
What's a TikTok? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, maybe you could kind of jump the line that way, being a celebrity, but at the same time, the dad is a trained wrestler, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's like he put in his dues earlier. Like, normally celebrities can only jump the line to do like one bit. You do it, you come in, you do one bit, and then that's it. Like, if you want to be a regular every week grinded out wrestler, you can't fake it. You can't cheat. You can't get ahead and just start, well, my dad owns the company, so now I'm going to do this. You got to put in some kind of work. So it's the same thing with comedians. It's one of the great justices about our business is that you could be a celebrity. Like, okay, like remember when Charlie Sheen had his meltdown, with all the
Yeah.
stuff, and then like
Yeah.
right after it happened, he goes, I'm going on a stand-up comedy tour. I'm fired from Two and a Half Men. I'm going on a stand-up comedy tour. Every single comedian was like, well, that's not gonna go well. There's no way. There's no one more famous in the country at that point than Charlie Sheen. And he goes, I'm gonna do a sold out theater comedy tour. The first show gets booed off the stage in 5-7 minutes because he went up there and thought, oh, I can just wing this. And he just said winning and tiger blood a few times. And like the audience got bored of it. Literally the next show, he booked all these other comedians to be on the show to save him and like
Brilliant.
pad it around it. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where you can be the most famous person on the planet, but if you're not funny, it's not going to work. So
Right.
that's one thing I love about stand-up comedy, and I also love about pro wrestling is you can't fake it. You got to be good at it.
You got to be good and you got to build
Hmm.
yourself up. Okay.
Yeah.
More questions about this when we come back from break because, oh my God, this could last like 3 hours. I'm so upset that we're going to be limited on time. But
We can do a
hang
full
tight.
Rogan pod. Why not? Do like AEW After Dark or something, and then and just have this keep going. It'll be like watching USA when we were growing up. It'll be like the Silk Stockings hour
Yes.
of
Yeah.
AEW. Every boy listening just went, "Oh my God, he knows." Yes, of course I know. Yeah,
Of course you
I
know.
was a kid during that time too. It happens.
All right, real quick break. AEW Unrestricted, Aubrey and Will talking to Brad Williams about comedy, about wrestling, about all things that are interesting and awesome. So we were talking in the last segment about sort of building your way up from, sort of small shows to eventually selling out theaters, which you're doing now quite
Yeah.
frequently, by the
And
way.
also, Aubrey, technically with me, they're always small shows, but I'll let that one slide.
Hey, da-da-da.
Professional. Anyway.
Yeah, professional. Anyway, so one of the things that I was so impressed by and so incredibly proud of you is when I heard that you were doing Cirque du Soleil initially
yeah.
when Matt Apple came out. And for those that don't know, like Cirque du Soleil is typically just like a bunch of acrobatics and cool tricks and stuff, but there is never spoken word. And that is
Yes.
always common. That's like the set Cirque
one
du
of the
Soleil,
themes.
like right. It's one of the themes. It's like you're there to watch a visually interesting experience, but you're not there to listen to people talk. And then
Yes.
all of a sudden you're saying like, oh, I'm in Cirque du Soleil. I'm like, okay, did he, what kind of phone call did he take? Because I'm like,
Man,
your legs are not as long as some of those people. How
Correct.
does this work?
correct. It was very interesting taking that phone call. I remember my agent just being like, Cirque du Soleil wants to talk to you. And I was like, they know I can't do that shit, right? Like, I don't know that. So, but it's a show that I'm currently not on the show. I was there for about 3 or 4 months and then I moved on, but the show is still running. It's called Mad Apple. It's at the New York Hotel. And they said, we want you to launch it because we want like a known comedian to launch it. And then we'll kind of give it to other comedians as it goes. And so I was like, what am I doing? They're just like, just be stand up. And so that's what I did. I was doing stand up. Despite the fact that it was Cirque du Soleil, I wasn't being fired out of a cannon going, wee wee. Like, that's not what I was doing. But it was fun. It was so much fun because normally stand up is such like a lonely kind of thing. It's just you on stage. But for that, I had a whole cast to be with me. And normally I follow another comedian in Cirque du Soleil. I followed 2 guys that juggle each other with their feet. So
Mhm.
that's new. And also I enjoyed the challenge of performing for people that weren't there to see stand up. I go on stage at a club or one of my shows, people know what they're getting and they kind of want that. It's like the difference between like a casual wrestling fan and then the hardcore wrestling fan where when you bring out thumbtacks, they're like, yeah, like you can't do thumbtacks for some basic fans. You can't do the Moxley bat spot.
Oh
For like,
God.
were you in the ring for that, Aubrey?
No, I was sitting there in the back watching it going, oh no, someone's going to have to pull this out. And then I look at Paul Turner and went, he's about to do the Lord's work.
That's so great. But so I got to go out to an audience that wasn't ready for me, and I had to like adjust. So I couldn't go full my style. I had to like kind of be a little softer for them, but it was great. It was so much fun. It was a blast to do, and you also kind of figure out how much people um don't want to speak in public, or really fear speaking in public, because one night, before one of the shows, or oh, sorry, during one of the shows, the light board malfunctions, and has to be completely reset. Now when that happens, it takes about 15 minutes to reset the light board. It
Wow.
has to like charge up, cues have to be redone, and so when it malfunctioned, the stage goes dark. The audience is there, and they say, "I'm sorry, we're having technical difficulties. We'll be back when we can." And the stage is dark, and I run to the side of the stage going, the fuck are we doing? And he's like, the stage is dark. We can't do anything. I go, do the microphones still work? They're like, well, yeah, the microphones still work. I go, give me a microphone. Let me go. So they hand me a microphone. They turn it on, and I just start doing stand up, and I do like 15 minutes. I have more jokes than the ones I already did in the show. So I talk to them and keep the show going, and they give me a sign saying we're ready to go back, and then I get the crowd fired up and they're ready for more Cirque du Soleil, and it was great. But then I walk to the back, and the acrobats are all like standing on the side of the stage. There's one in particular. He's a Russian hand balancer. Aubrey, you saw the show. So
Hmm.
the guy that was at the very end on top of like the Empire State Building, who's like
Hmm.
balancing on his hands, and he's ripped to all hell. He's a
Oh, yeah.
perfect male specimen. Um, and that's coming from someone who's backstage, and you witness a lot of ripped,
I see a lot
dudes.
of beautiful people every day.
Yeah, that guy was something else.
Oh, yeah.
So I come off stage, and he's just staring at me, and he just looks at me and goes, I have no idea how you do what you do. And this is a guy who balances on little blocks 50 feet in the air. Like if I do a line and it doesn't work, all right, I got another line. Like if he messes up, he's dead. So but that's how much people don't want to speak in public, or are afraid of speaking in public. And it was nice to like share that skill with a bunch of acrobats, and then also be witness to their skills, which are absolutely phenomenal. So if when people go to Vegas, or if a Cirque show comes to your town, I would go see it. It's always a spectacle.
Man, I was just really thinking about the respect of the craft of the idea of easing people into comedy, easing people who aren't there for comedy.
Yeah.
And so how do you craft essentially a joke for somebody that's not necessarily there to laugh, but you can eventually get them there?
You don't start off with being like, what's the difference between cum and a shit? Like you don't start off with that. You don't,
I think you eventually got there, though.
you got there, whatever, but you just you just do basic stuff. You introduce yourself, you kind of do some lighter humor that's not so X-rated. We do the same thing when we go on like a TV set where we're doing a Tonight Show spot or something like that. But one thing that comedy, and this will be another Cirque story, that why comedians and wrestlers kind of get along so well. There's a lot of reasons why we do. It's very similar lifestyles. It's a lot of road life. It's a lot of travel. It's a lot, live performing. But then the other thing is the mentality of the show must go on. Wrestlers have this mentality, comedians have this mentality. The show must go on no matter what happens. I've had fights break out in my audience where I continue the show. I've had a lady got accidentally set on fire one time. That happened during my show. I'll explain how she accidentally got set on fire. It wasn't.
Okay.
This wasn't a Mick Foley spot. This was a woman laughed. She threw her head back, and her hair landed in a
Oh, that's
candle.
way worse.
That's way worse.
And she had a lot of product in her hair, and it was just like whoa, like if you ever saw the episode of The Simpsons where they have the flaming mow and
Yeah.
just fireballs would go off randomly, that's what it was in the middle of the Cleveland
This
Improv.
is
It was
like
just
some Michael Jackson shit.
yeah,
Like,
just
Yeah.
boom, just went up, and I decided to be like, well, a fireball just happened in the middle of my show, but you have to keep going. So along those lines, when I'm doing the Cirque du Soleil show, I did like 2 spots. One in the beginning where I just do straight stand up, and one where I go on after something called the Wheel of Death.
mhm.
And this is a thing that looks like a hamster wheel that is like on a gyroscope. It's like going around in a circle, and there's a human being inside the hamster wheel, and then on top of the hamster wheel, and jumping off the hamster wheel, and like doing amazing things. And I go on after that to do a couple of more jokes, and then introduce one more act. So I'm ready. I'm on the side of the stage, and I'm watching my guy. His name is Jose, and he's on the Wheel of Death. And he does this spot where he's supposed to grab the side of the wheel and then use its momentum to flip himself from the ground to on top of the wheel. And he does it, but he slips, and the wheel flings Jose in the air. And there are pads around, but it flinged him far enough to where it was too far for the pads, and Jose hits the ground.
Oh
Now,
no.
this happens, and there's 1,200 people in the theater. We actually, it's kind of similar to you guys, Aubrey, where there's a sign that it gets thrown up that means shit's real.
Yep.
And that sign gets thrown up. People come out. They help Jose off the stage. And in my IFB, I hear, "Okay, Brad, you're gonna go in 5."
Oh my god.
And that is my intro. And I'm just like, oh, because in my head, I'm like, okay, you can't just do stand up. You can't act like nothing happened. So I came up and I was like, hey, everyone, Jose is okay. He's doing great. And by the way, I'm saying that knowing nothing. I
Right.
don't know if, spoiler alert, Jose was fine. But
Good. Okay. That
let's
was
just
my next question.
let's just get that out there. He was fine. He got the wind knocked out of him. He was okay. He performed the next night. But I don't know that. So I just go on stage and I go, hey, everybody, Jose's fine. Obviously, Cirque du Soleil. It's a live thing. These are very hard stunts that people are doing. It shows how talented our performers are. And you just saw Jose in the Wheel of Death, which really proves that Mexicans really do all the jobs that other people don't want to do. And that was that. I was like, I don't know if this joke is gonna hit. If this joke hits, this is gonna be great. If it doesn't, I may get fired. But the joke hit, everybody laughed, and that was the tension that it broke the tension, and then we moved on, and we were all okay after that. And then, of course, I'd run backstage after my spot and be like, is Jose alive? Did I just make fun of a dead guy? But yeah, Jose was fine. But yeah, so it's stuff like that where the show must go on, and that's where you get some of the best stories is when things don't go the way you planned them to go.
Hey, and honestly, yeah, and that has resulted in some of the best stuff we've gotten to do in AEW. One of the last things I wanted to ask you about, because I cannot let this podcast go by without asking. I'm a big Simpsons fan, and being a big Simpsons fan, that makes me a big Harry Shearer fan, which then obviously makes me a big This is Spinal Tap fan. Spinal Tap 2, The Ink Continues, comes out this September, which you are starring in. How did this role come about?
So, yes, Spinal Tap 2. I'm really excited. This role came about because I've worked with the great Christopher Guest before in a movie called Mascots, and I did well, and he liked it. So when he's like, "We need dwarves for Spinal Tap 2," he's like, "I know one," and he called me, and he said, "You want the role?" And I said, "Absolutely." Now, while I am not allowed to actually tell you what my role is, I can tell you that if you're a fan of Spinal Tap 1 and you know my size, it's not hard to figure out what I'm doing. Okay, like you could put 2 and 2 together very easily. And I can tell you that I'm in the movie with Wee Man from Jackass, which I'm thrilled because now people finally realize that we're not the same fucking person. Uh,
Right.
it's like me, Wee Man, Hornswoggle. That is, we're all the same person. We've all had quite the career. If you combine our forces like a dwarf Voltron. So
Wouldn't be as tall as the other Voltron, but it's
nope,
still pretty
nope,
good.
still pretty good. But yeah, it was a great time. It was amazing. The entire original cast is back, even down to like Fran Drescher, like she's back in it. And then you have some amazing cameos because as this with such a classic film. And that's so musically centered. Everyone wants to be in this movie. So there is a Sir Paul McCartney in this movie.
Whoa.
There is a Sir Elton John in this movie. There is
Whoa.
a Dave Grohl. There is a Garth Brooks. There's a lot. So I can't tell you many stories, but I can tell you this one, which is my favorite story from working on this film. Uh, Elton John is in the scene that I'm in, a scene that I'm in, and I'm there's a live audience there, and it's me, it's Wee Man, it's Elton John, it's others, and there's a live audience that are paid extras, but not really actors, you'd say. And they start, of course, cheering for Elton in between takes, and that's fine. And then some of them start cheering for Wee Man, and then that's fine. And then during another break, a guy just yells out, "Brad Williams, I fucking love you." And then a bunch of other people go like, "Yeah," and there's like a Brad chant going on. And all this is happening. And Elton John, who I haven't met, just turns, looks at me and goes, "Who the fuck are you?" And so now I gotta be like, Sir Elton, I'm a comedian. I'm a professional idiot. But yeah, those are the first words that Sir Elton John spoke to me was, "Who the fuck are you?" So, which I think is really appropriate.
That's an
And
honor.
if that gets thrown on my gravestone one day, it'd be, yeah, that would work. Brad Williams, who the fuck are you?
What a fantastic story, and I can't wait till September to see this movie.
Yeah,
Everything that you do, I'm so excited to be like just to experience it because all of your stuff is great.
thank you. And one thing I try to it's not like I do this on purpose, but it's just kind of how it comes across is I never for one second thought that I would be doing this or like at least this successful at it. So whenever I do something that's amazing, I'm really excited for it. I don't get bored with it. I don't be like, "Oh yeah, just run to the ring in a Scott Steiner chainmail, gonna, do some belly to bellies." Like I'm like, holy shit, I get to do this. Like I don't frame too many photos, but the last two photos from the Jericho Cruise where it's everyone in the end, like I'm there with the Dudleys, I'm there with Thunder Elijah, like all these guys. It's crazy. Ultimate Dragon, like it's amazing. So well, no matter what I do, I'm really excited for it. And I think that really takes on the fan's voice because if a fan did something like that, they'd be stoked about it. And I'm like, I can't hide it. I can't. They're like, act like you've been there before. I've never been here before. I don't know what it's like to be in a Spinal Tap movie. So when I get that call, when I get to hang out in New Orleans for a week and with my pal Wee Man, yes, we're actually friends. We all know each other.
Is there like a
Me,
meeting?
yeah. It's me, Wee Man, and it's Swoggle, and Dinklage never shows up. You son of a bitch. He's banned. Banned from the meetings, I tell you, Dinklage. It's all because of that Snow White thing. That's all another rant I can go on. Anyway,
Oh, brother.
but yeah, but it is nice to do that kind of stuff. And whenever that stuff happens, I'm genuinely thrilled. Whenever I get a text from Aubrey and I get to go on this podcast, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I'm not looking at it like, I gotta go on a wrestling podcast and talk about one of my favorite things to people who are passionate about it. This sucks. Like, no, it's amazing. It's really great. I would, for people that want to be a comedian, it's a hard road, but it's freaking worth it if you do it. Much like wrestling, it's a hard road. It's a big barrier to entry, but if you can get past it and you start getting to work with really cool people, you'll do some really amazing things and have some really great stories to tell.
God, I
Hell
love it.
yeah.
Brad, thank you for being here. Don't forget, you can check out Brad Williams' Comedy Tour 2025 happening now with dates scheduled through the end of the year, New Year's Eve 2025 show in Jacksonville, Florida, which brings this thing full circle because it's the place that you and I met. You can get tickets at bradwilliamscomedy.com. Brad, thank you for being here. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, guys, literally anytime. If Dr. Ken Jeong cancels, if Ron Funches cancels, if Young Gravy cancels, because he was also at the show that day, and someone had to tell me who he was. I was like, "Who's this guy?" And they're like, "It's Young Gravy." I'm like, "What's a Young Gravy?" And
where's Old Gravy?
Where's Old Gravy? Is there like middle-aged Gravy? Because I feel like I'd get along with middle-aged Gravy, but apparently he's a very talented musician who has a lot of relationships with adult film actresses, and good for him. Who doesn't want to do that? So good for Young Gravy. Either way, but I'm happy to be either a comedic or I'm not going to say celebrity, but I'll say comedic representative for AEW, and love what you guys do, and really excited for the stuff that you guys got coming up.
I think if we hold a vote backstage for a comedic representative, Brad Williams would definitely get like far and away all of the votes.
You hear that, Funches? You hear that, Funches?
I gotta text Funches and get on here now so we can have just like a competition.
Aubrey is a ref. She's an official judge. What she says goes, and she says that I am the official comedian of AEW. So you hear that, Funches? Yeah, you've done a Canadian destroyer in a match. Doesn't matter. I've done a belly-to-belly, a frog splash, and Lance Archer's damn near killed me multiple times. So that's what I've got. Ha, Funches.
I love it. Brad, thank you for being here. This was an amazing episode. And don't forget that AEW Unrestricted is sponsored in part by Upper Deck. Collect your favorite wrestlers in 2024 Upper Deck AEW and start your trading card collection today. Unwrap autograph memorabilia and premium tech inserts. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. You can listen to and follow this podcast, AEW Unrestricted, at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And check out the video episodes on our YouTube channel at AEW Unrestricted. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And are you an AEW insider? Get early access to ticket presale, special merchandise offers, and more straight to your inbox. Sign up today at AEWTix.com. And don't forget, AEW Dynamite on TBS Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. and streaming in the highest of quality on Max. And AEW Collision live every Saturday on TNT and also streaming on Max. ROH streams every Thursday on Honor Club. I'm Will Washington. She is Aubrey Edwards. We'll see you next time. Have a great night. Peace.